Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm here to do a video talking about my favorite romances that are set in small towns. I love romance reads, there's no secret about that. I also love the different subgenres in the romance when you get to tropes like hate to love, second chance, friends to lovers. I even like books that are like even more minuscule like sub-tropes, like for example, books that are set in small towns. I love a good small town read. I fully 100% blame it on Stars Hollow, Connecticut and Gilmore Girls.
I don't know. I just wanted to see him. I mean, I've seen him already, but that was before he was...
Lori's boyfriend?
Shush you.
She's growing up.
I know.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Okay, Mr. Reality, break into somebody else's house.
Sorry.
Why didn't she tell me?
What?
Y'all can say whenever we think of a small town, that is where our mind goes. That is my like dream one day, maybe. That is like a dream I think we all have, is like live in Stars Hollow. We're always looking for a book that kind of fits that vibe, where everybody knows everybody. It's a good time. It's a good camaraderie. There's a fall festival and a summer festival and things like that. You always know what's going on with everyone, and it's just that small town vibe. So that is what we're talking about today. Books that are set in small towns that give you that kind of Stars Hollow feel. So I have a few. Let's get into it. First up, I want to talk about probably my favorite book series, like small town. Like if I could pick any book series to go to this small town, I would. And that is the Love Light Farm series by B.K. Boris. And the series is now completed. It is 4 books. Each book has a different season it takes place in, and each is set in this town called Inglewild, I believe. It's called Inglewild. I could be 100% wrong, probably am. But either way, it takes place in this small town, and it has a phone tree where they'll call and they'll be like, did you see Nova and Charlie macking in the grocery store? Did you see Brett buying these screws? You know, it's a very small town. They have like a coffee shop, a bakery, all that kind of stuff. And it's all kind of centered in this place called Love Light Farms. The first book obviously is a holiday book, and I always recommend to read it in a holiday. It's one of my favorite ones. Obviously Love Light Farms. This follows Stella and Luca. Stella owns a Christmas tree farm that she's trying to expand and make it bigger, maybe make like corn maze, pumpkin patch, strawberries. You know, with each season she wants to make a profit, and her best friend have to kind of fake date, but obviously they have feelings for each other. Super cute. Then the second book is In the Weeds, where we follow Beckett and Evie. Beckett is kind of the farmhand of Love Light Farms. He's very silent and big and strong, but he falls for an influencer, and it's just very kind of grumpy meets sunshine, and it's adorable. It's amazing. This one takes place like tail end of winter going on to spring, which follows Layla and Caleb. Layla owns the bakery that is on Love Light Farms. See how we're sensing a theme here? And she's always wanted romance, and Caleb, who is like the town sheriff, and he also is a substitute teacher, or he's a deputy, excuse me. He's like, hey, I'll teach you how to, you know, be in a relationship, but he really likes her. Super cute, full-on summer read. And then the last one that most recently came out is the last book in the series, and obviously set in fall. This one follows Nova and Charlie. Charlie is the main character's Stella brother, and Nova is the main character's Beckett's sister. So we all have kind of tie-ins together. They're both kind of not in relationships, and maybe they decide to have a friends with benefits, because I'm sure that's going to go really good. And either way, this series is just an amazing one. I love this town so much. I would love to visit this town, be in this town all the time. I love how each book is different in seasons, so that way you can pick one. Right now, I would highly recommend picking up Business Casual. It does help to read them all in order. Is it necessary? Not a ton, but I do recommend it. It is one of my favorites, if not my all-time. It is like my all-time favorite small town series. We have Part of Your Role by Abby Inez. This one is a first book in a series. In fact, if you want to read her sequel to this book, which is the sequel to companion novel to this one, is Yours Truly, and then she has her most recent one that's kind of ties all of it in together, which is Just for the Summer. But as far as small town goes, Part of Your World fits the small town mold perfectly. This is about Alexis and Daniel. Alexis lives in the city, I forget what city exactly, and she is an ER doctor. Her parents are surgeons. They want her to like become a surgeon, but she just wants to like kind of be an ER doctor. She doesn't want to be the chief of the ER. She just wants to kind of work and be a doctor, but her parents are kind of forcing her. Then one day, and she ends up in this small town where she meets Daniel, who lives, like I said, in this very small town. He owns like this house that he's trying to make a B&B. He's also the town's mayor. Like, this man is involved in everything, and somehow they strike up a romance. But of course, the big tumultuous conflict in this book is she comes from a big city, comes from a small town. Can they end up together? She still feels pulled to the city, but he'll always feel pulled to the small town. Like I said, this small town's amazing. I love the help in this town. Like they each, like if one of them they notice needs help, the whole townspeople will rally around them and try to help them. They're all there for each other, and I love that so much. The romance was really adorable as well. Definitely don't miss out on any of her books. This is one of my favorites, and you will not be steered wrong if you want a great small town romance. Next up, we have Well Met by Jen DeLuca. My favorite Jen DeLuca of all time. I have read a lot of her books, and honestly, this is the only one I've truly loved. The other ones have just been kind of subpar in my opinion. So this one is a great small town one and a great book if you want to read about a Renaissance fair. If you think maybe, oh, I'm not really that into Renaissance fairs, me either, but after reading this, I'm like, I want to go to a Renaissance fair, please. Book we follow Emily, and Emily is not doing well with her life. She's just not having a good time with her job, relationships kind of gone, and then her sister is in a car accident. She's totally okay, but her sister has like a 16-year-old daughter that she can't really help take care of because she's kind of couch-bound after her accident, which she'll heal from totally. I want to make sure that's not like a fatal car accident, anything really, really sad. But she asked Emily, hey, can you help me out? Because I can't do as much as I used to because I'm a single mom and, you know, I have to recover. So she asked her sister for some extra help. And so her sister's like, look, I don't have anything else going on in my life right now. It's not really like great, so why not? And so she goes to this very small town in Maryland. I forget exactly where that's at, but it's a very small town. And in fact, she gets there and she has to help a lot with her niece. Her niece is in high school, and she gets roped in helping with the town's annual Renaissance fair, which is a pretty big deal. It's like not a big Renaissance fair, but it's big enough for their town. There she meets Simon, who is one of her niece's teachers and a really big part of the Renaissance fair. In fact, he's kind of like the surly pirate guy, and somehow Emily gets involved and she's like the wench. And at the fair, they're like, you can tell there's a big attraction and he's nice to her, but not at the fair. Simon's kind of a jerk. And so she's like, what kind of signals am I getting? It's set in a small town, Renaissance fair vibes, just amazing and fun. And my favorite Jen DeLuca book. Next up, we have the When in Rome series by Sarah Adams. If you want just sugary, sweet books, Sarah Adams is the author for you. And this series is set in a small town in Rome, Kentucky. So in the first book, we follow a character named Amelia, who is like, think of like Taylor Swift. She's a big old pop star. Amelia is getting burnt out. And so she decides one night to rewatch all of her favorite Audrey Hepburn movies. And of course, one of them is one of them called Rome? When in Rome, right? I don't know. I'm not a big classics movie person, so please, Roman Holiday. So she decides to rewatch all of her favorite Audrey Hepburn movies, and of course one of them is Roman Holiday. And she's like, man, I would love to go to Rome, but I just can't. And so then she looks up Rome, and then she finds Rome, Kentucky. So she decides to take a car ride there because why not? And so she does, and then she gets stranded, and then who should she meet but Noah, right outside his door, and he is like the town's baker. He has a plethora of sisters. He somehow ends up letting Amelia stay with him, and of course a friendship and then romance emerges. It's Grumpy Meets Sunshine. This town is very, very small. Everybody knows everybody. Like the brother has the bakery, the sister has the floors. You can go on and go on, but either way, again, a super small town. My favorite in the series is the second book, Practice Makes Perfect, which follows one of Noah's sisters, Annie, and also Amelia's bodyguard. So see how it's all kind of tied in. The third book's coming out soon, and I can't wait for it. But either way, this is another great small town romance series that I love and adore. We have In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. This is one I read in a whim a couple years ago and loved. Yes, she is thick. Most Kindle Unlimited books are. Just be wary about that. But I immensely enjoyed this. So we follow two characters. We follow Shay and Noah. Noah's a very popular name. I would know because my son's name is Noah. But either way, Shay is, beginning of this book, she's not doing well. She gets left at the altar. What she gets is a jilted bride, and she did not see it coming, and she's just not doing good. And then she learns that her great aunt has passed away. But not only that, her great aunt left her tulip farm, and she's like, what? But she's like, you know what? This might be the fresh start I need. So she goes back to where her aunt lives in this very small town, to the tulip farm, and she learns that she inherits it. But there's also stipulations, as there always is. Then she meets the guy that owns the farm next door named Noah. They knew each other at high school. Noah has always harbored a love for Shay. And then when you know that big old caveat of owning the tulip farm is she has to be married within a year, I So her and Noah decide, hey, let's get married. You know, I can keep the tulip farm, he can have some of my farm, and you know, things are gonna work out. We'll just be a fake relationship. Easy as that. Either way, it's set in a very small town. They have fall festivals. Noah has his own farm. He makes his own jam. He's very in love with that. And it is just adorable. One of my favorite ones that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but I love. And I have a book series from Elsie Silver. I have the, the Rose Hill series. She has her other one, the Chestnut Spring series, which is another small town, but I feel like that's really confined within the ranch, and this one's more in the town, so that's why I'm recommending this one. It has 2 books that are out. I haven't read the second one yet, but I have read the first. So Wild Love, we follow 2 characters, we follow Grant and Rosie, and Grant is a big old star, and he decides to retire and move to Rose Hill, where he spent summers at when he was a child, and open up his own recording studio. And there he meets Rosie again, and Rosie is his best friend's younger sister that he's always pined for. She as well. And it's just adorable, steamy time. It's set in a small town. They have like a dad's bowling league. It's just really, really cute. The second one is about actually Grant's best friend named Weston, and he meets one of Grant's it's hard to keep up with sometimes, recording artists. It's a big time recording artist, but again, it's set in a small town. All of these are also about single dads, which I love and appreciate so much, but either way, it's an amazing small town series. I'd say any Elsie Silvers will give you that small town vibe. And the last one I'm gonna quickly mention, I haven't read yet, so I can't really recommend, but it's on my TBR and it's been on that, and that is Savor It by Tara DeWitt. This is about 2 characters that fall in love, I believe, and it's set in the small town of Spuns, Oregon, and I think it's like everybody knows everybody, and there's like a festival coming up. I'm not sure about it, but I know it's small town, hence why I'm putting this on here. So there you have some of my favorite small town romance books that I love and adore. I'm always adding more and more to my list. I have ones that I read that I don't love, that I wouldn't necessarily recommend a ton. I'm in Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore, which I have read and liked. It's not one of my favorites, but it does have a very big small town vibe to it. I would say it's a perfect fall read for sure, and I'm always looking out for more. So if you have any favorite small town book series and books, or books that you just love and adore, please leave them down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.